Playing in the NBA definitely has its perks. If you thought it was just a coincidence that most NBA players have really attractive partners, you'd be pretty damn confused. In fact, the attraction of being an NBA player is so powerful that sometimes even players with goofy faces and terrible personalities still end up with beautiful spouses. Today, we'll take a look at some of the very most beautiful and dive into the backstory of how they found themselves partnered up with an NBA player. Amelia Vega and Al Horford. Amelia Vega is an actress and model from the Dominican Republic. She met Al Horford back in 2009, and the pair have been together ever since. Some are surprised to learn that Al Horford is also from the Dominican Republic. In fact, he is the highest paid Latin American player in the NBA. His full name is Alfred Joel Horford Reynoso, and he was born and raised in Puerto Plata, a trading port on the north shore of the island. Al and his family moved to the United States when he became a freshman in high school. Amelia Vega grew up in Santo Domingo, which is the largest city in the Dominican Republic and located on the south shore about 145 miles away from Puerto Plata. The two never met each other growing up, but in 2003, Vega became one of the youngest people ever to win Miss Universe. She was just 18 at the time. Al Horford was 16, so it's basically impossible that he wasn't aware of who she was. Perhaps very aware. But it would be another 4 years before Horford found his own fame by getting drafted into the NBA, and another 6 years before Horford and Vega would actually meet in person. It was during the Latin Pride Parade in Boston. The couple started dating, and after 2 years, they got married. They now have 3 children, a son and 2 daughters. Basketball fans have already been talking about how there's a good chance Horford and Vega's kids could grow up to be basketball players. Both parents are tall and athletic. Horford is 6'9" and obviously already a successful NBA star, but Vega is also tall, standing close to 6'2". The DNA is an extremely strong recipe for height and basketball talent, but hopefully the family and the general public keep an open mind, as the kids are still very young. Nawal Ayub and Andrea Bargnani. If you've never heard of Andrea Bargnani, well, you're not alone. Even hardcore NBA fans sometimes shrug when they hear his name. That's probably because Bargnani had a relatively short NBA career that wasn't all that impressive. He spent most of his career playing for the Raptors long before they were any good. And then, just when it looked like there might be a chance they would get good, he was traded to the Knicks. Bargnani was traded again not long after that, this time to the nearby Brooklyn Nets. This was yet another team that was about to get really good, but Bargnani retired before that ever happened. Bargnani was never a star, but that still didn't stop him from winning over one of the most beautiful women alive. Nawal Ayub was born in Colombia, but her family is originally from Lebanon. Like Amelia Vega, Ayub competed in beauty pageants from a relatively young age. This launched a modeling career. How she met Andrea Bargnani isn't widely known. Bargnani is originally from Italy. He grew up there, and initially, he also played professional basketball there. It wasn't until 2006 that Bargnani made it out to the United States, where he attended the NBA draft in New York City. Believe it or not, even though you've probably never heard of him, Andrea Bargnani was picked first overall in the 2006 NBA draft. If there's a more likely scenario for the couple to have met than this one, it's hard to imagine. New York is a major international hub for models, and Bargnani was there in order to do something that was probably familiar to Ayub, get picked first in the contest by a panel of experts. But I'm really just guessing. The whole story is kind of a head scratcher, to be honest. Kerry, Hilson, and Serge Ibaka. Many of you will already know who Kerry Hilson is. For those of you who don't, Hilson is a famous R&B singer. She's been nominated for several Grammys and worked with well-known producers like Timbaland. For 4 years, from 2012 until 2016, Hilson was in a relationship with Serge Ibaka. Ibaka is a pretty cool guy. In addition to being a wealthy NBA star, he also speaks 4 languages and is a killer chef. He also apparently has a sense of humor, which he sometimes uses his cooking skills to exhibit. Ibaka once surprised his teammates by cooking lamb brains for the entire Raptors roster. On another occasion, Ibaka cooked beef penis for Kawhi Leonard. Beef penis. Yes, the amputated dick of a cow. In fact, Ibaka actually draped it over a pizza before serving it to Leonard, who not only ate it, but even complained that he couldn't taste the penis enough. Speaking many languages and cooking delicacies from around the globe, Serge Ibaka is kind of like the most interesting man in the NBA. And while he doesn't always date famous R&B singers, when he does, he prefers the hottest in the industry. It's no wonder the couple got together. What's more of a wonder is why they broke up. Hilson has been extremely private about what went on between them, but she said that media scrutiny was a factor. Hilson also had taken a break from her music career during the relationship. She started working on a new album after she and Ibaka broke up, so maybe a desire to continue with her music was another factor. We'll never know for sure, and maybe that's okay. But what we can all say for certain is that while they were together, this was one of the coolest and most attractive couples in NBA history. Aisha Curry and Steph Curry. Here's another super cool couple that gets lots of attention from the media. Steph and Aisha Curry have been married since 2011. They've known each other since they were teenagers, but didn't start dating until years later. Aisha is originally from Toronto, Canada, but she went to high school in North Carolina, about a half-hour away from her future husband. The first time they met was in a church youth group. Aisha took a passionate interest in cooking from a young age, and like Serge Ibaka, she grew up to become an extremely skilled and versatile chef. But when she graduated high school, becoming an actress was Aisha's big dream. She moved to Los Angeles and had some success at first. She appeared in small roles in a number of movies you probably never heard of, but the acting experience she gained proved to be valuable later in life. After marrying Steph and becoming famous along with him, Aisha was able to land her own cooking show on Food Network. She's also authored her own cookbook. Tayana White and Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson is one of the youngest players in the NBA, but when you're one of the most hyped basketball stars ever, it doesn't matter. In just 20 years, Zion has already had a pretty extensive romantic life. After accepting a scholarship to play at Duke University, Zion and his high school girlfriend Tayana White decided to try and maintain their relationship long distance. Zion played 1 year at Duke and instantly became one of the most coveted draft picks in NBA history. It was an absolute done deal who would be the first overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft. In fact, this is how the New Orleans Pelicans management reacted when they found out they had the first pick. This meant that after just 1 year in college, Zion was once again off to bigger and better things. He and Tayana tried to keep their relationship afloat, but in the end, it ended up not working out. It's very rare that NBA players stay together with their high school sweethearts. LeBron James and Steph Curry are two rare exceptions. The strain of being long distance and the uncomfortable truth that options simply open up for guys when they make it to the big leagues usually destroy their previous partnerships. It's a hard truth, but it just seems to be the way it is. Zion is apparently single now, as far as anybody knows. But there are rumors, as you might imagine. In 2019, Zion was seen in a picture with Disney actress Peyton List. This obviously caused speculation that perhaps this was Zion's new girlfriend, but nobody really knows. Zion is a young star and looking ahead to a long and promising NBA career. Who knows what lays in store for his romantic life? Tayana Taylor and Iman Shumpert. Another NBA player who managed to link up with a successful musician is Iman Shumpert. Shortly after getting drafted, Shumpert hit the jackpot. At a party, he met award-winning pop singer and choreographer Tayana Taylor, but Taylor wasn't too impressed with Shumpert at first. Apparently, he was totally hammered at this party and was running around yelling with his shirt off. Shumpert had to work hard to impress Taylor after that. Back then, he was playing with his first team, the Knicks. He wasn't going to impress Taylor by going anywhere in the playoffs, that's for sure. Instead, he opted for a long-term strategy. He forged a friendship with Taylor at first. Soon, romantic feelings developed, and they became a couple. For a brand new NBA player on a lousy team, this was a pretty impressive accomplishment. Tayana was really loyal too. In 2012, Shumpert suffered a knee injury. According to Tayana, she canceled all her plans so she could spend all her time caring for Shumpert and supporting his recovery. 2016 had to have been the best year of Shumpert's life. He won an NBA championship with the Cavaliers, and he and Tayana finally got married. Today, they have 2 daughters and remain happily married. The couple have also been unusually open about their sex lives, something everybody is interested to hear, whether they admit it or not. Tayana has even discussed, both in conversation and in some of her song lyrics, about how she and Iman will occasionally have threesomes. How you audition for one is anybody's guess, but needless to say, it's probably really selective. Chris Bosh and Adrienne Williams. Adrienne Williams is a model and philanthropist. She grew up in a small town in Indiana called Vega with a population of only around 1,000 people. Williams has managed to date a number of high-profile athletes. This is a little weird because Williams readily admits that she has no interest in sports. She has dated multiple NFL players and NBA players before Bosh. She also reportedly dated Lil Wayne for a brief period. Williams met Bosh at a charity event that was held in New York City. It would be another few months before the pair would meet in person again, but they exchanged numbers and talked over the phone before that. Since Bosh was already one of the most famous NBA players at the time, their relationship was highly publicized from pretty much the beginning. But what really got people's attention was a ridiculous, over-the-top wedding they threw. They rented out the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami Beach. This is literally the hotel in the classic James Bond movie, Goldfinger. It's a stupid fancy hotel for stinking rich people. Even simply staying there is something only a small percentage of the population can even think about doing. Renting it out to host a massive wedding is on a whole nother level. It was reported that over 300 people came to the wedding, including tons of celebrities and other NBA stars. But apparently, all this wasn't enough for Bosh and Williams. They wanted to blow even more money. So Kris bought his new wife a Cartier necklace for an unspeakable price, and in return, she bought him an Aston Martin. With the price of the hotel, the cost of all the amenities for a 300-person party, and the necklace and car, this wedding had to have cost millions of dollars. And the result of all of it was that Kris Bosh ended up married to one of the world's most beautiful and successful women. They say money and fame can't guarantee happiness, but man, I don't know. Kamaya Adams and Bradley Beal. If you watch season 2 of Love and Hip Hop, you'll recognize Kamaya Adams. Adams drew all kinds of attention on the show. She had a dramatic breakup with Lil Fizz, who called her an appetizer. She also got into a fight with another cast member. Watching this terrible show and seeing these degenerates embarrass themselves, you'd be shocked to learn that any of them ever ended up in stable relationships. But believe it or not, that's what happened to Kamaya not long after the taping of the show. She met Bradley Beal in 2015 at a party in LA. Beal says he's actually kinda shy. It was Kamaya who approached him and gave him her phone number. Kamaya was super direct, and things started moving quickly for the couple. Beal says that he took Kamaya to a Ferris wheel in Las Vegas and asked her to be his girlfriend while on the ride. This is just about the cheesiest goddamn thing I've ever heard. If I saw it in a TV show, I'd change the channel even faster than on Love and Hip Hop. But for Kamaya, it was a dream come true. The couple has been together ever since. They've had 2 sons together, and in January of 2020, Beal proposed. Kamaya said yes, and of course, she made an unbearably sappy Instagram post about it, which included a miniature novel as a caption. But it turned out the timing of their engagement was actually pretty bad. Just a couple months later, the COVID pandemic hit, and they had to postpone their wedding. Apparently, the couple did eventually get married at some point during 2020, but they were unable to hold a ceremony. But hey, if Kris Bosh and Adrian Williams are any indication, skipping the ceremony might have saved them millions of dollars.